It's a world of self-empowerment. You got to completely take control of your ship. Period. No one's coming to help you.
Points or metrics that one can gauge from your own experience and journey from a financial point of view. Right? Do you know where you are? If you don't know what your net worth is, if you don't know where you are, how do you know where you're going?
So these are the 5 things. And if any of you have all these 5 in place, I think you'll belong to an elite group of 10% or 5% of the world, which is having all these 5 things in.
Something I learned.
What gets measured gets managed.
What gets measured gets managed. What you track will grow.
Yes. I have a target, Kartik. I want to reach 100 crores.
Alright, so Manish, today we are going to talk about a 5-point checklist on your health and wealth, which is basically going to give people a barometer on gauging where we stand. So it's not about calling anyone out. It's more about just trying to see where we stand. Right? How are we doing? How deep in water are we? Or are we doing all right? Do we, just finding a way to know where we stand on our health and our wealth.
So when you say 5-point checklist, it means if you were to measure these 5 and you're doing good on these 5, it means a good chunk of the battle is already won.
Correct. And if you feel like you're lacking on any of these are the first 5 to get to. So
yes.
And they are easy kills. These are good checkpoints to have. You used to play video games, there'd be a checkpoint after which you can, that's where the break happens and you can go on to the next level. So a lot of times I feel that we don't know where we stand. Like, how do you know? In school, we used to have a report card, right? We would know, I've got a B in this, I've got a C in this, I need to work on this.
Right.
How do we know where we stand?
And no one teaches this.
Yeah.
No one teaches, and everyone has a different perspective to it. That's why people get confused. Either they're ignorant, unaware, or completely confused.
We just don't have basic mental frameworks or mental models on knowing where and how to judge ourselves. So we'll just get into it and then we'll see how it goes. And
let's go with money first.
Let's
5-point checklist for money.
Okay, so 5-point checklist on money to see where you stand. Okay, so your current net worth. Can you tell within 5% of what your net worth is? So assets or everything you own minus everything you owe is your net worth.
So in my case, let's say the gold, the securities in India, abroad, the real estate, and minus the mortgage that I have. That's my net worth.
Car loans, credit card loans.
Yes.
Right? Or subtract all of that.
Fortunately, never had a credit card loan, but credit card, yes.
Okay. Credit card balance is considered as credit card loan.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So minus the mortgage, minus the credit card outstanding, all right, and minus the car loan, that is the net worth.
Correct.
Okay. So and when you say net worth, do you track this on a monthly or quarterly or 6-monthly basis? Do you sit on it?
So I have an Excel sheet which has my number flashing in red. Or it's there. It's always there. It updates. It's not a dynamic. It's a static update. So once in a while I'll update it.
Okay.
But roughly I get a sense. I know what my number is.
Okay.
Right. So and the reason, and now it's like second nature to me, but initially I used to be like, okay, in 2022, this was my net worth. I need to increase it to this level by the end of the year. So it just gives you some benchmark.
A goalpost.
Some goalpost to measure. Because end of the day, if we don't measure it, whatever we track will grow. This is something I learned.
What gets measured gets managed.
What gets measured gets managed. What you track will grow.
Yes. I have a target, Kartik. I want to reach 100 crores.
Okay.
This is a number I've been playing with in my head for such a long time. So all the tracking that I do regarding my network, I want to reach 100 crores. And
so that's $11 million.
That's $11 million. At today's currency.
Correct.
At the rate at which Indian rupee is depreciating, it will become 10 soon. Yeah. So that's point 1. Okay. What's the second?
Number 2 is insurance. Right? As I said, if something were to happen to the earning member of the family, God forbid, the family suffers. Right? And insurance is a very cheap way to ensure that you take care of your family. So you need to insure it. And the good thumb rule is 10 times your annual income. So that is something that everyone can easily get.
Would you say 10 times your annual income is standard irrespective of where you are in the income level?
No. Talk to a financial expert, talk to your insurance guy to figure out how much exactly you need. But as a rule of thumb, if I had to give out one generic rule of thumb,
at least 10 times.
At least 10 times your annual income. Obviously, what happens is someone like me, I bought my insurance when I was 25, 14 years ago. So maybe that needs to change. Today, I look at it differently and we can talk about it. But in general, for most young couples or people starting out, or if you haven't done it yet, at least 10 times is a good place to start. Earlier you start, the better it is. But it's important to ensure the income of the family. right? And don't treat your insurance like a place where you're expecting a return. Think of it purely as like your car insurance. You pay it
So a term plan.
a term plan.
It's cheap, affordable, and gets you a good cover.
Absolutely.
Super.
Number 3 is your emergency fund. Again, uncertain times, we've spoken about this a lot, but at least 3 months of your monthly expenses, household expenses into 3, you should have that ready to go at a moment's notice.
Liquid, incashable.
In cash. Don't invest it. That should not be part of your global equities or real estate. Not that. Emergency fund in case you need immediate
And even if
liquid.
you're tempted to touch it, people shouldn't touch it at all, even if it's not earning much.
Correct. And it's fine. If it's 3 months and it's a good build up, start. And if people are not there, start with 1 month. But assess. Do you have it ready? Good. Then you can move on to the next point.
Okay.
Right. Which is, do you pay your credit card bills in full every month? Right. And this is such a big one that I noticed that a lot of people don't have the auto pay function on. A lot of people don't have it on either because they don't know it's there, either they just say they'll get to it later, or because they don't actually have the funds to pay that credit card.
Yeah. And I've seen people at really good salaries, okay, not paying their credit card in full. It shocks me when I sit with people and they are juggling with credit card because they're waiting for the bonus, and when the bonus comes, then I'll settle my card. But it's once you start on that path, there's no turning back.
It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah. So obviously the one thing I say is put that auto debit feature on. Don't buy stuff you don't need with money you don't have to impress people who don't care. And most people do that on their credit card. So that is something to get rid of or start working on. Again, today is not about calling anyone out. It's more about just assessing your own scorecard.
And no one's getting impressed. I also would want to say, even if people are swiping their card for a fancy lifestyle, because of it they're racking up their debt, no one's getting impressed. They think people are getting impressed. No one is thinking about you as much as people think others are thinking about us.
I think
everyone's busy with their own
and I
life.
think you and me think that because we've read enough of Morgan Housel. He keeps saying it, right? I know exactly where that's coming from because we have a clear reference point.
Yeah.
Read Morgan Housel's any of his books. He mentions the same
all his
stuff.
books.
Yeah.
Read all his books.
Yeah.
And read once a year. Those books are treasure chest of wisdom.
Yeah. So
that's the fourth.
So even if you think people are getting impressed, do it with money that you have. If you want to impress people, do it with money that you have.
Absolutely.
Right. And the last one is, obviously we've talked about this so many times, invest 10% of your income automatically every single month. I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's a very obvious thing.
But again, people don't do it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
People, that's why we're talking about it,
Yes.
because it's things that we've realized that people don't do. We're both in the finance industry or whatever, and we interact with so many people on a daily basis. So we know it doesn't happen, which is why it's part of this checklist. If people did all of this by default, we wouldn't be talking about it.
So select a ETF, select a fund, and let that money keep
Again,
going.
today I think it's not about telling people what to do. It's more about just a self-assessment that these are the 5 points that people can assess their own life or their own financial scorecard, right? This is your report card. It has 5 items. Grade yourself. Where do I stand? Am I an F in something? Then you know you need to work on it, because these are easy. Oh, this is the report card. Okay, let me get to work on it. Because back in the day, our report card would be public information, right? Our parents would take us to task on a lot of things. Today, there's no one to do it. We've got to self-analyze and self-assess.
No, it's a world of self-empowerment. You got to completely take control of your ship. Period. No one's coming to help you, and that's why it's important people understand these measures.
Do you think there are any other points or metrics that one can gauge from your own experience and journey from a financial point of view?
I think these five
are a good starting
move
point.
the lever. These 5 have the biggest leverage on your life.
Yeah.
So I think if people are able to get through these 5, all right, I think half the battle is won. More than half the battle is won.
How are you doing on or any of these points that you felt when you heard them? You're like, shit, I'm not doing this, or I could do better on this. Anything?
No, I'm doing all of it.
All 5?
I'm doing all of it.
Amazing. Okay. Great.
But there was a time in my life where I wasn't doing all this. There was a time in my life where I wasn't doing investments on an auto debit base. I've made a lot of money mistakes. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. The stupid mistakes I've done. But fortunately today, everything that you said, everything's in place.
Awesome. And I'm certain that a lot of things that you're going to give me in the health checklist, I will not be there yet. So I'm really keen to hear what are the 5 key checkpoints, or if I had a health scorecard, right, or a health report card, what are those 5 metrics on which I should, because I consider myself fairly healthy or fairly athletic. I have vices which are public information, but I want to know, how do I gauge, if I had a report card, what are the 5 points I should be looking at?
5 simple levers. The first lever, I'll say all 5 together and then I'll elaborate on each of them. The first is dead hangs. If you can hang on a bar for 60 seconds or more, all right. The second is waist size. What's your waist size? For men, 35 inches. For women, 31 inches. All right. Third is resting heart rate. 50 to 60 is damn good. Okay, very healthy. Anything above 60, it's a red flag. Fourth is muscle mass being 40 to 50% for men and 30 to 40% for women, which you can get from a simple DEXA scan. People do not know that, but important that you know that, because muscle plays a very important role. And the fifth is HB1AC less than 5.6%. I'll elaborate on HB1AC, which is fasting glucose. All right. So these are the 5. If you could just measure these 5, and if all these measures are in optimal range or a healthy range, I think you are in 10% of the world. Because 90% of the world won't have all 5 together.
Okay, a lot of this was a bouncer for me. I don't know what that H1B visa, whatever you mentioned, I don't know what that is. So can we go over these one by one? Because I would like to...
So first is dead hangs. Okay, in the longevity, in the whole domain of longevity, grip strength, okay, has been found to be a great barometer for how healthier will your lifespan be. Grip strength, and the simplest way to measure your grip strength is how long can you hang on a bar. So if you can hang 60 seconds or more, it means you're strong. All right, it means you're strong. You got muscle, and it will hold you in good stead. When you're aging. All right, you won't be frail. You'll be surprised, Kartik, the number of people die because of slipping. Yeah. Slipping in a bathroom or slipping...
and if you slip after a certain age, you can do irreparable damage to yourself.
Irreparable damage. Because the hip fracture. Because the hip fracture is terrible, especially when you're aging. And you can't get out of it unless you do very expensive, which people won't have the money for. So you got to be strong today. And the simplest way is just grip strength. You got to make your grip strong.
So yesterday in the gym, we tried. We couldn't even last 30 seconds.
We had a brutal kettlebell workout.
But last week, I crossed 1 minute.
Yeah.
And I was blown away because I could never cross 30 seconds. So I've done a minute.
A minute plus is great. Elite athletes, all right, would do 2 minutes plus. Like there's a guy, Paul Saldino, who I follow, does 8 minutes, man.
In fact, the guy who lives in that tree house in the mountains.
Yeah, the guy in US. There's a lady, 93-year-old lady, which I posted on Instagram recently. All right, did a 4-minute dead hang. Yeah, 92-year-old lady. So dead hang. Just get a pull-up bar, put in your house, do a dead hang practice every day. First.
Okay. What's the second?
Grip strength. All right. The second is your waist size. Anybody, any man, all right, who has a waist size of more than 35, or any lady with a waist size of more than 31 is risky territory, because a lot of your extra calorie intake, because most people today consume junk or packaged food or a lot of food which is not even food. It's shocking the kind of stuff I'm discovering about food today. And when you load up on all those calories, all right, all those calories get stored in your body, okay? So it gets converted into visceral fat, and visceral fat for men will be stored in their belly, for women will be around their hips, all right, under the skin. And that is why if your waist is above 35, it means a lot of fat accumulation is happening in your body. And almost all diseases begin with this fat accumulation in your body.
Okay, so 35 for men,
35 for men.
But is this good for 90% of the people, you think? Or
you're in safe territory.
Because if someone is tall or someone is short,
you're in safe territory. Even if someone is tall, all right, you could still be lean.
Yeah.
If someone is short, you could still be lean.
Okay.
So I won't get into the exact height to waist ratio. It's unnecessary optimization of this metric.
So 35 and 31, cool. So
Keep your waistline below 35.
That's a one barometer to check. Okay, what's the next?
Okay, the third one, all right, is resting heart rate. Now, almost all your muscle gain, if you work out, almost all your recovery, all right, almost all your long-term memory, okay, formation happens when you're sleeping. Now, if you're not gonna be sleeping well, okay, then it is going to hurt all the muscle repair, all the growth, all the long-form memory accumulation.
Sorry, Manish, I want to cut you there. We'll get into the details of that. How does one... So you're saying between under 60, resting heart rate.
Resting heart rate got to be under 60. 50 to 60 is good.
So most people have some kind of smartwatch, or you're wearing a Whoop.
I have a Whoop.
So what do I have to check? What is resting? What is resting heart rate?
Resting heart rate is the number of times your heart is beating when you're sleeping.
Okay.
60 beats a minute, 50 beats a minute.
Okay.
Now, if you are sleeping well, all right, if you're recovering well, it should be between 50 to 60, which is healthy. Ultra athletes or endurance athletes have in 40s, which is amazing.
Okay.
But many people I know is above 60 who have smoking issues, drinking issues and all that. They will be having
So I need to check mine because I don't know where I stand. So this is Apple Watch will tell me my
Apple
resting
Watch
heart
will
rate.
tell you. It'll be easier for you to find it on the app instead of the phone, instead of the watch.
Okay, cool. I'll check it after
Because the UI is much better on the phone.
Okay.
So keep your resting heart rate between 50 to 60
Done.
and track it. Because all your health recovery is happening when you're sleeping.
Done.
Fourth is muscle mass.
Muscle mass.
Muscle mass as a percentage.
First, how do I know what is my muscle mass?
You will need to get a DEXA scan.
That's the only way?
There are many a time people do BMI. There are machines.
In the gym, which you hold those two
It's
things.
a rubbish machine.
Oh,
It is just going to give you some directional number. Doesn't mean it's an exact number. And I think many a times it is off.
So DEXA scan, one DEXA scan, I do a DEXA scan every alternate year. All right. I have a reminder set on my phone. So I do a DEXA scan whenever I go to India. When you go to most people, if how much does this cost?
DEXA scan in India would cost me 5,000 rupees, which is 200 dirhams.
5,000 rupees. Okay.
Maybe in Dubai, it'll cost you 800 dirhams.
About $55, let's say $60.
It's cheap, all right. Most places it is very cheap. Some places it'll be expensive. You figure out where you'll get a good deal.
Okay.
But get a DEXA scan. Figure out what is the muscle mass, all right, as a percentage of your body. It should be 40 to 50% for men.
So if I weigh 70 kilos, you're saying 40 to 50. So between, let's say, 30 to 35 kilograms of muscle has to be there in my body.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you don't, it is an issue purely because you must understand a lot of metabolism in your body happens if you have the right amount of muscle, lean mass, all right, in your body. And if you have less muscle, you're going to suffer metabolically.
I think, that's fair enough. But so I'm
and you're losing 1% of your muscle every single year. As you start,
muscle atrophy happens. After what age does this happen?
After 35, it accelerates, all right? So you have to understand, anyone above 35, you got to make sure you have enough muscle mass in your body.
So as long as I'm weight training, I won't lose, or irrespective, I'm losing?
Irrespective, you're losing. But if you're weight training, you're also gaining muscle, right?
Right, okay.
So you are fighting against that gravity of aging. So having muscle mass of 40-50%, getting a DEXA scan, which most people do not do. So
I've never done a DEXA scan.
Next time you go to India, first thing, go to any NM medical center or wherever.
Anyone who's watching who knows a good DEXA scan place in Dubai, please feel free to reach out.
Okay, so that's fourth. And the fifth is HB1AC, got to be less than 5.6%. Now, what is HB1AC? Okay, you have red blood cells in your body. Red blood cells have a protein, all right, called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin carries oxygen. Okay, now if you are having excess intake of calories, all right, a lot of times the calories turns into sugar, or when you're having stuff which has a high glycemic index, all right, the sugar gets attached to this hemoglobin. Just imagine donuts which have sugar on it, right? Yeah. So what if your hemoglobin has sugar, okay, glycated it's called, all right, hemoglobin, and that shouldn't be more than 5.6%. Because if it is more than 5.6%, it means you have more sugar flowing in your body than what is healthy.
So my only takeaway
and your blood test will give you.
Okay, my only takeaway, you said a lot of words, right? But, and whoever gets it, but my takeaway is 5.6% and below.
Yes, your HB1AC should be 5.6%.
Where do I find this? Can I find this on my health app?
No, you need to get a blood test done.
Blood test.
And most blood tests will cover HB1AC. And if it's not covered, tell the guy who's doing the blood, I want my HB1AC measure. People say, oh, get a fasting glucose. Fasting glucose isn't as effective a measure. All right. It is, HB1AC is a more effective measure for you to figure out whether you're healthy or not.
Anything else on my phone that I can check, or on my Apple Watch? I'm wearing this expensive Apple Watch.
Only thing on your phone you can check is your resting heart rate.
Any other measure I can do, because I'm trying to make it easier. I want it easier for me now. I don't know when I'll go get my blood test. Right now, if I had to sit at home and do a test to know where I stand on my health.
The only two things you can check on your phone maybe would be resting heart rate and HRV, heart rate variability. If your heart rate variability is above 60, it's good. If it's less than 60, it's not good. Heart rate variability means your heart beats. What is the range of your heartbeat?
Should be high or low?
Heart rate variability should be high. Resting heart rate should be low.
Okay.
So resting heart rate means how many times your heart is beating in that minute. Heart rate variability is the range of your heart rate.
And that should be high.
That should be high.
Khalas, okay. So heart rate low, heart rate variability high.
These are the only two things you can get on your device.
Done.
Everything else needs you to step out and get stuff done.
Okay.
So these are the 5 things. And if any of you have all these 5 in place, I think you'll belong to an elite group of 10% or 5% of the world, which is having all these 5 things in place.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna make sure in the next few weeks I'm gonna ensure that I get all these 5 numbers. I know my waistline I'm okay.
Baseline looks okay.
Waistline
yeah.
is okay. What was the first thing? The first one that you mentioned.
Grip strength.
Grip strength. I know I can do 1 minute dead hang.
You did once. You didn't do last time. We'll do it
last
again when
time
we
we'll
work
do
out
it.
together.
We'll do it at the beginning of a workout.
We'll do it in the beginning of a workout. All right.
And we'll post it. We'll post it
and
somewhere.
do a dead hang every time you go to the gym. And if you all don't go to the gym, do it at home.
Yeah.
Waist size, you are less than 35, which is good. All right. Resting heart rate, you'll have to check what is your resting heart rate.
Yeah, we'll do that after this.
Okay. I'm in 52, 53.
Okay.
And if I had a drink, it goes to 56, 57, but it's still between 50
If
to
you have
60.
a drink, it goes up. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Okay.
All right. 4th is muscle mass, 40 to 50%, which is also in range for me. You'll have to check that for
I'll
you. And
check that.
HB1AC, 5.6%.
Okay, done. So DEXA scan and blood test are the 2 things that I need to do. Perfect.
So, yeah, that's it. Yeah, these 10 measures, and I think you belong to a pretty special group of people worldwide.
Excellent. And I think this was a great way for people to just look at self-assess, look at where we stand, and then choose.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing most people who will be listening up until here are also people who are looking to up the game a little bit. So it's a good time for people to either go out, get those tests done, look at the finances, look at how you feel about your health, and then these are good 5 barometers or metrics to actually test your life on.
And any questions you have, okay, feel free to put in comments. All right, we will read every single comment of yours and answer every single question or concern that you may have, and we look forward to it. Yeah?
Absolutely. Good. I think that's a great
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap for today, and we'll continue this next week.
See you soon.